Man. Good evening, everyone. We will call to order the Oxnard City Council of Community Services, Public Safety, Housing, and Development Committee meeting for Tuesday, June 14th, 2022, 6:45 p.m. And Madam Clerk, if we can have a roll call and posting of the agenda, please.
Member Zaragoza,
Here.
Member Madrigal,
Here.
Chair McDonald.
Here.
The agenda for this meeting was posted on the City Hall Bulletin Board on June 7th, 2022.
Thank you. Member Madrigal, would you be willing to lead us in the flag salute, please?
Please stand. Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, sir. That takes us to item B, public comments and items not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, I didn't see any speakers on the list for this meeting. Do we have anybody that called in?
We do not have any speakers. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you very much. That takes us to item C, consent agenda. And I did ask for one minor change in the minutes from the last meeting. And I don't know if the rest of you have had the chance to review the minutes otherwise.
I have no changes. No, none for me.
Okay, you good? Then a motion would be in order.
Move to approve with Chair McDonald's changes.
Second.
Okay, and if you would vote, please.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to item D1, Housing Department. License agreement number A8457 to Oxnard Housing Authority for use of property located at 1500 Camino del Sol in Oxnard. The recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing, and Community Development Committee recommend that City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute lease agreement number A8457 with the Oxnard Housing Authority for the use of property located at 1500 Camino del Sol in the amount of $564,000 over a term of 5 years. Pursuant to Measure M, there was a pre-recorded presentation available on the city YouTube channel. And Mr. Ramirez, any opening comments?
First of all, I wanted to acknowledge that the companion item, the item that is with the staff report, the agreement itself does have some blanks in it, which will be filled in at the time of the action of the council. That's the date of the term, if you will, and that'll be the date of the action of the council. Beyond that, this is a continued use of the multi-service center for a variety of community serving nonprofits that the Housing Authority continues to operate or manage, if you will, the building and the tenants that are there. And there has been some revenue gaps that were generated during COVID that we're looking to recover as a result of those revenue gaps during that COVID period. We lost a couple of major tenants and it created that gap. But we've recaptured the tenants now and we're in much better shape now.
Okay. And I did talk with Mr. Zaragoza in the city attorney's office about a few things I noticed were not filled in on our copy, but he assures me and you assure me that that will be completed when it does go to council.
Absolutely.
So do the committee members have any questions for Mr.
Yeah, I have one question. So during the pandemic, we lost a major tenant. Is what it was?
We did lose there is a childcare operator that is on site. The childcare operation continues on site, but the administrative building for the entire nonprofit was in that building, and that administration vacated the building, and so that lost a significant amount of rent revenue.
I think it's important that we continue using that whole building because you provide quite a bit of information and also other agencies that people could use there. And it's been used since 94, I can't remember what it was, for a long, long time. And I think you need another $22,000 for utilities and an annual amount for 95,000 for the.
Right. So a lot of that, I mean, number one is just a cost of living increase. It just costs more money to maintain and run the building. So that's just number one.
Mhm.
Number two, we did generate some rent revenue loss because we lost that major tenant. We have now replaced it with a different community serving tenant. In this case, it's a mental health services medical clinic function. And they are providing services to the community. And I do agree with you. I think the entire staff agrees with you that the community center or the multi-service center should continue to be used for this community serving nonprofit collection of services. And so that's the intent going forward.
No, I think it's well used, and I personally support this this item. And again, one of the things that you mentioned, that the rents, of course, do not cover all the the cost, and you need a little bit of help, which I think is important that we do so.
Correct.
Mhm.
No other questions?
No question.
Okay, with that, I will move the recommended action.
Second.
Mhm.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a roll call in a second, and if you would all vote, please.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. Mhm.
Thank you. Takes us to item number 2 from the Police Department. Donation from Transcend Robotics of a Vantage Patrol robot to the Oxnard Police Department. And the recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing, and Development Committee recommends that the Oxnard City Council, 1, authorize the Oxnard Police Department to accept ownership of a Transcend Robotics Incorporated Vantage Patrol robot donated by Mr. Huitan Doan. And I apologize if I messed that name up. I'm trying to do my best. And 2, authorize the acquisition and use of Transcend Robotics Incorporated Vantage Patrol robot pursuant to a provision of Assembly Bill 481, pursuant to Government Code Section 7070 through 7075. And pursuant to Measure M, there was a pre-recorded presentation on the city's YouTube channel. And Commander, do you have any opening remarks or anything else to provide?
No, I'd just be happy to answer questions you may have regarding the donation.
Okay. I will start out by saying that when I first looked at this, I didn't know much about the person that was donating this to us. And I have to admit that he bought 30 of these, and it was almost $1 million he spent, and trying to figure out why. And in talking with Chief Benitez this afternoon, he tells me that the gentleman has been here many years and is a successful businessman and real estate investments. And that when he first arrived here from Vietnam, he apparently was homeless for a little bit of time and got to know the local police agencies where he lived. And as such, really has a strong belief and support for police departments. So he bought 30 of these, I believe, that he's donating to different agencies throughout the state. And in my conversation with Chief Benitez, he did say that the vendor is a DOD vendor, Department of Defense vendor, along with other government entities, and that they did a very, not a real in-depth, but they did vet this gentleman to make sure that there was no hidden agendas or any other unusual items. So with that being said, I am much more comfortable with this now than I was this morning. Thank you, Chief, for the follow-up. I appreciate it. Do the committee members have any comments?
No question.
I'd like to share a couple of items. I think one of the important things that the public needs to know is that even though it's considered under Bill 481 of military equipment, what we're using it for basically is, I think you mentioned, de-escalate items that are really difficult to send our police officers where the machine can, or the little robot can go out and look and report back kind of robotically to de-escalate any possible violent incident that might happen or that might harm our police officers. And I think I like that. And I think that's extremely important. And one of the things that you mentioned too in your report is that no unit can be carried in the back of the trunk. What does that weigh? Just, I can't remember what it is, but it's not that heavy. And I think it really helps us. I think the most important thing for me is that potentially can save a police officer from harm, which I think is extremely important.
Correct. Yeah, it's the big benefit is just it gives us the ability to use both time and distance, and gives us the ability to communicate, from a distance, and hopefully de-escalate a lot of those situations. So
And when I was reading this, I told my wife, just, that little machine actually can climb a stairs.
yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's the technology's come a long way.
It really is fantastic. So I think it's good, and I think I want to thank Mr. Hugh, I think is his name, that for actually donating the robotic machines to save lives.
Yeah.
Basically, so.
I think it's a good investment. In watching the news in the last 24 hours,
Definitely.
a CHP officer was shot
Right.
yesterday afternoon. He's in critical condition, but still alive.
Mhm.
This afternoon, 2 El Monte police officers were shot. I don't know the situation on them. And LAPD had a pursuit where it ended up in Simi Valley,
Hmm.
and the suspect drove his car into somebody's front yard and just sat there.
Hmm.
And this robot would have been an ideal piece of equipment to be able to set out
Mhm.
and deploy, instead of having to have 30 officers stand around waiting for this guy to decide to come out of his car, which he fortunately did. So I think it's a huge asset for the department, a huge, potentially life-saving piece of equipment. And I'm very glad that I'm very glad that this gentleman has seen fit to donate it to our agency along with other agencies throughout the state of California. So I think it's a wonderful asset. So I will move the recommended action.
Second.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If we would vote, please.
Okay.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
This takes us to item 3. I apologize to the folks from Recreation that we've taken so long to get down this far in the agenda, but this Cultural and Community Services Department, and the subject is amendment to an agreement with the Hueneme Elementary School District A8337 for the operations of the After School Education and Safety Grant, also called ASES, ASES, to increase the total value of the agreement by $3,857,261, bringing the total agreement amount to $7,017,157. And the recommendation is that the committee recommend that the city council approve and authorize the mayor to execute an amendment to the agreement A8337 with the Hueneme Elementary School District, HESD, for the operations of the Hueneme After School Education and Safety ASIS grant to 1, increase the agreement amount by $857,261, resulting in a total agreement amount of $7,017,157. And 2, approve a budget appropriation recognizing $1,901,786 in grant funding for fiscal year 2022-2023. And pursuant to Measure M, there was a pre-recorded presentation on the city's YouTube channel. And I don't know if you have any opening comments, but if you do, we are here to receive them, or if you want to answer questions.
Sure, I can make a few comments. First, good evening, Chair McDonald and committee members. Renee Rakestraw, Assistant Director for Cultural and Community Services. So this is an amendment to the current Hueneme After School Program agreement. It is additional services or an enhancement to our current services. To give you an idea of what this program looks like, it currently has 1 full-time employee and about 50 extra help or part-time employees. And so this additional funding will actually increase the full-time employees to a total of 13. Currently, we only have 1 recreation coordinator that is full-time. That will move into 1 recreation coordinator with the addition of a recreation supervisor and 11 recreation leader 3s, which will be positioned at each of the 10 sites. Now, why the 11th one? So with the enhanced service, that 11th recreation leader will now be supporting athletic skills training. So getting them involved into our sports. With this additional funding, and of course, the question is, what are all these staff going to be doing? So there's enhanced services, such as expanding the number of students that we serve in this school district, tracking attendance, and various enrichment programs for each site, which include communication, enrollment, back to the Hueneme School District. So we're looking forward to this. We brought you something similar from the Oxnard School District recently. This is additional funding and will allow us to provide additional services to our students in the community.
Thank you very much. And if memory serves me correct, some of the workers in this program come out of the City Corps program. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And I think that's phenomenal in that City Corps allows our youth to see different career paths as they grow up, be it in public service or education or teaching or, doing neighborhood cleanups, what have you. So I think it's a great program on both fronts, one that serves the students and also serves our folks, giving them much broader spectrum of what they might choose to do when they grow up. I'm close to 70 and I still haven't decided what I want to do when I grow up, but
When you grow up.
yeah. But I think it's just phenomenal because they didn't have these types of programs when I was a younger person. So I think this is excellent. So do the committee members have any other questions or comments? Member?
I'll just briefly comment. As was brought up with the Oxnard School District, it's going to be increase of students.
Yes.
Please correct me if I am wrong, but a lot of these new students that we are going to serve, would that be coming from the younger, like TK kids?
So yes, we are going to look at expanding. So these services will be from TK all the way through 8th grade.
Okay, thank you.
You good? Mayor?
I'd just like to add, I think this is an excellent program because as I was listening to the conversation, I think we're looking at 1,000 students that we're going to serve, which is really tremendous, amount of children, that. And what do we call latchkey kids that are after school and kids that they're going to be there from 1:30 to 6 p.m. or something like that?
Correct. And, this is the high crime
Exactly.
hours. So really occupying them in positive programming and recreational programming is important.
Yes. And by the way, this weekend I was over at the Fun Fest festival over at Frank School. And there was 1,500 people there, families and kids, and it was just fantastic, the program that you put together for working together with the school district. That was the Oxnard School District. I know this is Hueneme,
Correct.
but I think this is important. And as Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, or Chair, that they also do coastal cleanups and other activities that really help them participate in cleanliness and making sure they help the community, making sure that they become productive individuals in the future. So, and the monies come from, was it Prop 49, I think is what it is?
AB 130.
130.
Yes.
Okay. Why do I have Prop 49? I'm not sure here, but anyway, it's a good program and I think it's really important. And you guys are just doing a great job. Everything that you do really works out pretty good. So I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the committee?
Move approval.
Second,
Mhm.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. If we would all vote, please.
Oh, got a vote. Hello.
Motion passes 3-0.
I still want to do a verbal vote.
Ask you for one simple little thing.
And you can't do it.
Yeah, that takes us to item E, items for future agendas. Do any of the committee members have any future agenda items they'd like to bring forward?
I don't.
nothing.
Thank you very much. That takes us to item F, adjournment. We will adjourn at 7:04 until the next regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Chief, I'm sorry, I should have asked you if you wanted to say anything. You just sat there.